Hey everybody, Gina Marie here, getting ready to start a reading for Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Take what resonates and leave the rest behind. Whenever you find this video, you are meant to find it. Okay, so let's see, Aquarius. Let's see where we go. Let's see where the cards want to take us today. Okay, the overall energy of the reading, the Ace of Swords, getting some clarity about a situation. Okay, in your recent past, we have the Six of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, and the High Priestess. Well, it looks like the Wheel of Fortune turned, and it turned in your favor, and you were able to possibly move away from something, like they say, moving on to calmer waters. But I think, for some reason, with the High Priestess here, I kind of think that you inherently knew this was coming. It was kind of like the Wheel of Fortune had turned, you were moving on to calmer waters, and you kind of knew in the back of your head, yeah, you know what? I knew this was going to happen. So whatever situation was causing you some turmoil, the wheel turned, you moved on, and like I said, I think your intuition kind of knew, yeah, you know what? I knew this was going to happen. In the current energies, we have the Nine of Swords, the Three of Wands, and the Knight of Wands. The Three of Wands is, it kind of gives me the feeling of waiting, of maybe you've done all the work and you're waiting for something. Possibly it looks like you're waiting for some communication. And it has you all up in your head, this waiting period. But then all of a sudden, something comes in really quickly. So if you were waiting for a message, or if you were waiting to wait, I get this feeling like you're waiting for a message, waiting to finish something. It's like you have all your ducks in a row and you just have to do one more step. It's like you were waiting for something and you were all up in your head about it because you were waiting and waiting possibly for some communication. And then all of a sudden, bam, something comes out of the blue. We'll have to see. We'll have to see when we clarify. In your potential final outcome, we have the Seven of Pentacles, the King of Cups, and the Four of Cups. So it looks like there is something or someone that you hold a lot of love for, that possibly you're looking back at the past with. Because the Seven of Pentacles is either like a timing card, like either in divine timing, or you're looking back at the past, you're taking stock. Because if you look here, she's like, it looks like she's watering these crystals. So it looks like she's watering this plant with these crystals in it. So it's like she was watering it, waiting for them to grow, watching these seeds grow. So it looks like you were, whatever you held or hold a lot of love for, it looks like you were looking back at the past with something. But you were looking at the back at the past with a little bit of discontent. You were not really happy about it. We'll have to see when we clarify. Okay, so what is it that you inherently knew? The Wheel of Fortune turned, you moved down to calmer waters, but it's like with the, I just get the feeling with the High Priestess, like, yeah, you already knew. Sometimes the High Priestess is secrets, it's your intuition, it's secrets that we keep to ourselves, but sometimes it's just, you just inherently knew. The High Priestess is being clarified by the Page of Swords and the King of Wands. So I think whatever the wheel turned on and you moved on to calmer waters, I think you kind of expected it. I think you expected this message to come in. Because the Page of Swords is someone who brings forth a message. It might be a little less than what you think. As in, like I've given the example before of, like, let's say, you're with someone and you tell them, oh my gosh, I love you. And you're waiting for the same message of, oh my gosh, I love you too back. But instead you get, yeah, I have feelings for you. You get something that's a little bit more wah-wah, a little bit less than what you figured. And I think that's what it is. I think inherently you knew that this was going to happen. And I think a message came in possibly that was a little less than. And with the With the King of Wands here, it's kind of like he can be Mr. My Way or the Highway. He can be kind of passionate. He can be a little pretentious. But I kind of see that I'm kind of like drawn to the fire here on this card. So I kind of think that your intuition, whatever this was that caused you to move on to calmer waters, even though you kind of got a message and it was a little bit less than, I think it sparked a fire in you and you intuitively knew, okay, this is going to happen. It could have been something that you were passionate about and you were happy that you moved on to calmer waters. But I'm drawn to the flames here. So possibly whatever changed in your situation, it was something that you were passionate about. But I get the feeling that you were happy. Even though you were passionate about whatever this was, this message comes in, but it's like you already knew. You knew that you were going to be moving on. And it's like you were okay with it. If that makes any sense. Like I just keep getting you knew. You knew and you're okay with it. In your current energies, we have the Nine of Swords, the Three of Wands, and the Knight of Wands. So I get this feeling like you're waiting for communication here. Waiting. You're all up in your head, waiting, and bam, something happens. So, let's see. What is this Nine of Swords? Okay. Well, the Moon wanted to pop out. The Moon and the Five of Cups. So, whatever this message is that you were waiting for, something that you're waiting for. And I don't think it was tied up to this. I think this is something new, something different. Because you get this message and you're okay with this. But now it's like you're waiting. Possibly waiting for a message, but I just get the feeling like you're on hold waiting. And the longer you wait, the more you're up in your head about it. And then, bam, something happens. So whatever you're waiting for, whatever it is that's causing you to be all up in your head, it's, with the Moon here, it's like there's secrets. It's like you don't know. It's like you're inherently, you just, with this worrying and worrying and worrying, I think you're worrying about things that you don't know. And I think that it's like you feel like you're going to be losing something, missing out on something, mourning the loss of something. So whatever this is that you're waiting for, that has you all up in your head, I really don't think you know what to expect. But you've worried so much you feel like you're going to be missing out on something. Like you're mourning something that you don't even know about yet. And then, bam, a message comes in. Let's see what this message is. I know this might sound kind of like a very bizarre reading, but this is just the energy that I'm feeling. These are the messages that I'm getting off the cards. Okay, so whatever it was you were waiting for, that has you all up in your head and bam, something happens. Well, whatever the bam is that happens, it looks like it's the Knight of Wands is being clarified by the Ten of Swords and the Seven of Swords. So whatever it is, it looks like it's over. It's dead, done, and over, which could be a good thing because the Ten of Swords resets to an Ace of Swords, so you get clarity. So whatever this was, it's over. And it might be a good thing that it's over because it looks like someone wasn't being honest. Either you weren't being honest with yourself in a situation, or maybe someone wasn't being honest with you. Like if this was a relationship and maybe you were waiting to hear back from another person and you were all up in your head about it, but you didn't know what to expect, but you felt like that you were losing out or missing out on something, maybe communication comes in and they end the relationship. Or maybe this message that comes in, you end the relationship because you realize that they weren't being honest with you with this Seven of Swords. That maybe they were being deceitful. Whatever the situation is, it looks like it's over because someone someone, either you weren't being honest with yourself or they weren't being honest with you. And in your potential final outcome, with the Seven of Pentacles, the King of Cups, and the Four of Cups, maybe you did hold a lot of love for this situation, possibly. And you were looking back, and you're a little unhappy because whatever it is ended. But it looks like you get the clarity about why it ended. Let's see. What is this Four of Cups? Why are we feeling so discontent? Sometimes, I'm going to tell you, sometimes things end and we think, oh, and we're heartbroken, we're devastated. But sometimes in hindsight, when you look back, it was a good thing because maybe you didn't want to see this at first. Yeah. The Four of Cups is being clarified by the Hermit and the Nine of Swords. So whatever this was that you held a lot of love for, that you were looking back at, that caused you to be a little discontent, I think it's caused you to go within. It's caused you to go within and kind of heal your heart. Because if you see this, the Nine of Swords, we have the Nine of Swords here as well, a repeating message. But if you see here, in this Knight of Swords, she's covering her face. Like, she's like, oh my gosh, all this, like, in my head, she's in her head, she's in her head, she's in her head. But here, this Nine of Swords, she's covering her heart. So it's not so much being in her head, it's her heart. She's covering her heart because she was hurt. Because whatever it is, it's not going around in her head, it hurt her heart. So, whatever you held a lot of love for, you were looking back at the past, feeling a little discontent, I think it caused you to go within and realize that, yeah, this did hurt you. And maybe you're kind of like, you're protecting your heart now, thinking that, you know what, getting the clarity about this situation, that you don't want to go back to this again. You don't want to be hurt like this again. So maybe this Ace of Swords here is learning the lesson from all of this. Maybe that's what your clarity is not to go for this anymore. And maybe that's why you're going within. Well, Aquarius, that's what I have for you. Hope this helped. If you like the content that I have, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you would like a much in-depth personal reading with me, the link to my website is down below. Love and light, everybody.